Nations must act on climate change or face legal consequences. Top Uni Court rules, July 24, 2025. In a landmark decision that could reshape international climate policy and accountability, the International Court of Justice (ICJ), the United Nations' highest judicial body, ruled that countries have a legal obligation to address climate change and could be held accountable under international law if they fail to act. The advisory opinion, requested by the United Nations General Assembly and spearheaded by the Pacific island nation of Vanuatu, affirms that inadequate efforts to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and protect vulnerable communities may constitute violations of international obligations, particularly under human rights and environmental treaties. A historic legal milestone, the ICJ's ruling, while non-binding, carries immense moral and political weight. It clarifies that states not only have an obligation to prevent environmental harm, but also a duty to protect current and future generations from the worsening impacts of climate change. These include rising sea levels, extreme weather events, biodiversity loss, and food and water insecurity. The effects of climate change are not hypothetical, they are happening now, and disproportionately affecting the most vulnerable nations and communities, said ICJ President Joan Donoghue. States must take appropriate and effective measures to combat climate change or risk violating their international obligations. Legal consequences for inaction. The decision opens the door for future litigation and greater legal scrutiny of national climate policies. While the ICJ's opinion does not directly penalize any nation, it provides a legal foundation that could be used in other international and domestic courts to pursue accountability. Experts say the ruling could influence ongoing cases such as those in the European Court of Human Rights and national lawsuits, where citizens and organizations are demanding stronger climate action from their governments. This is a turning point in climate justice, said Sherry Remen, a legal scholar on environmental law. It affirms that climate inaction isn't just a policy failure, it's a breach of international legal duty. Small islands lead the way. The case was brought forward by Vanuatu and supported by over 130 countries, many of them small island states on the front lines of climate impacts. For these nations, the ruling is a validation of their long-standing calls for greater accountability from high-emitting countries. This is a moment of hope and justice for communities whose voices have often been drowned out, said Vanuatu's Prime Minister Ismail Kalsaka. The law is now on our side.